Welcome back to the Curious Yapper. I'm Madison, your host and favorite yapper, and this week was a fiasco. And I'll get to all the details, but if you really want to hear about the fiasco, you're going to want to skip ahead to Friday because that was definitely the flying fiasco. So, take you back in time. On Monday, I was traveling for work, and turns out again the United States is really big, so I went from Washington to Florida, and turns out there are no direct flights to get across the entire country. So I had to do connection, and that actually timed out very nicely. Had to go from one gate to my next gate, and I only had 30 minutes of dilly-dally time, and it ended up going well. So that evening I got dinner and got some nice ice cream, so it was a good time. And Florida is very humid, and I guess I can respect that people have different preferences than me. I don't know if Florida is exactly for me. Might have to try again another month or another season, but it's very humid for the summer. So then the next day, go to the office, and then after work, which is the more important things, after I went to the beach, and on my way there also stopped for a delicious burger, and it was a mac and cheese burger. So I love me some cheese. I love mac and cheese and a burger all together, so it's delicious. And then I went to the beach, so I was so proud of myself for going and doing things solo and doing things brave and, living outside my comfort zone. And I guess I have not been to any beaches outside of Texas, and turns out beaches can be even better than what I went to in Texas with Corpus Christi, Padre, and Galveston. So anyways, the Florida beach was delightful. The water is clear, more turquoise, and the sand was really fine and white sand. So that was lovely. I got to be there in time for a beautiful sunset, and just got to go in the water and just sit and kind of read a book on my phone and really just people watch. I really enjoyed people watching. And then on my way back, now it's dark, and I was just heading back to my hotel, and I saw an ice cream shop on the right side of the road. I passed it and I was like, you know what? I want ice cream. So I did a U-turn and I got me some ice cream, and the cup was overflowing, which I appreciate, like the lady hooked me up. However, also Florida and the climate and the summertime, you cannot have ice cream outside. It just melts. So then I'm trying to juggle. I got a cup at least, so that I thought that was better. And I guess just ice cream outside in Florida is just not it. Melting. And so I'm like, I'm trying to do that and drive, and it's dripping everywhere. So that was Tuesday. And then Wednesday, I got to go to dinner with a colleague, and we went and got some tacos. Again, I guess it's better tacos than where I am now in the P&W. It's still, their queso was better than where I am now in the P&W. It just got really thick really fast. So she a thick girl, and it was still good, but it's just, it's not Texas. So for food, that's what I miss. And after that, went and got some more ice cream, and went to a place that does it's really Instagrammable and just the aesthetic. And they have the viral Dubai chocolate and Dubai chocolate strawberries and things like that. So I got a fun little sundae, and it was just fun. And then got to go and, sleep, crash out. It is exhausting when you travel, just in general. And then when you add work onto it, and then you're supposed to be in the zone just as you were if you were in your home office. And it's a lot for the brain to juggle. So then Thursday, I moved desks at work and got to meet people that I had been working with for a year now. So that was really fun to put faces to names. And then I just got into chit chat and be myself for a little bit, and they were hyping me up, and it was just really fun. It's really fun to see them and get to collaborate and talk together. So then after work, also I have missed telling you, every single lunch that I had was a delicious sandwich. First day I got a turkey pesto sandwich. Turns out I'm a basil pesto girly. And then the next day I got another like chicken pesto sandwich. And then my last lunch was delicious breakfast sandwiches. I got one that was a Philly cheesesteak and then one that was a basil pesto. So delicious. So delicious. I think it's called Marlene's. If you're in Tampa, Marlene's, hit it up. Delicious. So at work, I got to meet the people, chit chat, and that was delightful. After work we went to a park and walked around a little bit, me and a couple colleagues. And then I decided when they were done, I was like, I'm still gonna walk some. So that was fun. So I just did a couple more laps. And another moment is when I'm traveling, your diet changes and my movement changes and it doesn't feel good. So I really need to work and think about that because I don't want to not feel good when I'm traveling. So anyways, so it was fun to go to that park and then get to walk around and move my body. Just always makes me feel good. So that was delightful. Then I'm going back to my car and I'm like, okay, I got to figure out dinner. You guys, I found my driver's license on the ground right by my car. Do you know how bad that would have been if I didn't see it and someone had taken it or I'd lost it and I have to board a flight the next day? Disaster. So I made sure when I went to the park that I didn't have like a purse in the car or anything, but I guess in doing so dropped my license. So glad I saw that. Then after I found my license and it wasn't a problem, then I went to try to find dinner. I thought I was going to go to a cool food truck. I drove up and it didn't look like the food truck was there. And I didn't feel like being a solo girl in that area for too long. So I just went to Taco Bell. So I went all the way to Florida and had Taco Bell. But you know what? It was delicious and reliable. So I was okay with that. And then I started packing because the next day I was supposed to travel back to home. And you'll never guess, Friday was the Fiasco. Welcome. So my flying fiasco, I was supposed to leave the Florida airport at about 1 p.m. and then have a connection in Texas and then from Texas come home. And we got a text at 5:26 a.m. that said that our 1 o'clock flight had then moved to at least like 3:45 or 4 p.m. Well, with that kind of delay that early in the day, no way I was going to make my connection. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I started looking at my other options. All the options were not going to get me back to Pacific Northwest until 10:30 or 11:30 p.m. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll move my flight. And so I figured it out and I was just going to leave the Florida office in Florida later. Then I was texting with my colleague and she was saying that she was going to try to make the earlier flight and then work from Texas instead. And I was like, whoa. Then she was asking if I was going to do that. I was like, no way I'll make it because at this point now it's at least 5:40 a.m. and there's a 7 o'clock flight leaving. And I was like, I still have to go get my stuff from the office and I have to turn in the rental car. There's no way I'm going to make a 7 a.m. flight. And then my gears are turning and I was like, I knew a colleague was supposed to leave like in the a.m. and didn't leave Florida until 11:30 p.m. and landed in Dallas 2:30 a.m. No way was I going to get stuck in Florida by myself. And at least I knew if I could get somewhere more central to the country, Dallas, that I had a higher chance of getting a flight to get home. But if I just got stuck in Florida, and then I would need at least 2 flights to get back home to the Pacific Northwest. So within maybe 3 minutes, 5 minutes of like slowly getting ready, I was like, I do not want to be stuck in Florida. So I was inspired probably by 5:45 a.m. So we're talking about 20 minutes of just like, not sure. And then 5:45 a.m. I put it in gear and I was like, we are going. We are going to try to make this flight. We've never done this and it's going to be okay. And we're just going to go for it. I was like, ugh. I'm a very planning person. I get to the airport 2 hours at least early, sometimes 3. So I am not this person. So we were just going for it. So it is 5:45. I'm like, we got to do this, Madison. We got to do this, Madison. Okay. So we got to get ready, right? Well, my ready outfit was to go to the office. Ain't no way I'm going to wear my work shoes to the airport when I think I'm going to be running. So then I'm trying to like unpack my bag, get ready, brush my teeth. I didn't wash my face. And then I'm putting on my shirt, my work shirt, and it doesn't look right. I'm like, what's going on? And I had put it on backwards and it had a tie in the back. And then of course, anytime you're trying to do things fast or efficient and you get frantic and frazzled, it slows you down. So I'm trying to untie this in the back so I can turn it around and I'm just knotting it. And I was like, Madison, we can do this. Just like talking to myself because I'm feeling the heart rate go. I'm just not feeling great and making silly mistakes. I was like, it's okay. If we're going to try to make this. If we don't, we don't, but we're going to try to make this. So get the shirt on, throw everything in the bag, go down. Well, I need a receipt so that I can file it for an expense. So then no one's at the desk in the front. I was like, oh, I am crunch time. So then I was wondering if I should go grab my car from the garage and then come up, Anyway, some guy walked up and I said, I need to check out of my room and I need a printed receipt. So he did that for me. Cool. I start running to my car, put all the crap in my car, and then I unsafely, not safe speed, would not have passed driver's test, get to the office in 10 minutes, park it in a guest spot, turn on my hazards, go up to the 4th floor elevator, boop, boop, boop. And of course, naturally, I have to get my stuff from 2 desks because they moved me so that I could socialize with the people on the team. So I'm grabbing stuff from one desk, going to the other desk, and I was like, I messed up this person's keyboard and mouse. I don't have time to figure it out. So I'm talking to the people that are in the office, and I was like, hey, can you please fix this mouse and this keyboard? I'm trying to make a 7 a.m. flight. At this point, it's probably 6:05, and they're like, 7 a.m., goodbye, get out of here. And I was like, thank you so much. So I book it, get down the elevator to the car, and again, unsafely, speed, go to the airport. I did not fill up my gas tank for the rental. I knew that they were gonna ding me, but I was like, hey, if I have to spend $50 of my own money that's not gonna be reimbursed, I'm gonna do it, because at least I'm not in Florida and stuck, because I'm ready to be home. So I go to check in the car, and I pull up. I don't even wait for them to come to the car. A girl, I do not have time. So then they're like trying to talk to me. I was like, keys are in the car, bye. And so I leave and I'm running. The Florida airport is interesting. So from the rental place, you have to get a train to get to the terminal. Cool, that's not weird. And so I get on this little train and I'm going to the terminal. Of course, it naturally has a stop at the Eco parking lot, whatever. So I get to the terminal. It's my first time being here. I'm like, I am gate F. So I'm looking for the F and it says A and F and all I see is A. And then I'm going, okay, this still says F. So I am running in the airport. So I put on my tennis shoes. I got my work outfit. So business up top and I got my tennis shoes. I felt a little silly, but it was necessary. So I'm just running through this airport, boom, boom, boom. On my way up, one of the escalators is when I changed my bag around and put my stuff for the airport, because you can only have a backpack, you can't have a person, but it was crazy. So I find F and I'm like, sweet. Okay, waiting for security. I have another train. Once I like scanned my little ticket, it felt like a turnstile in like a subway system that you had to scan your ticket before you were even at security. And then I was expecting security to be on the other side. No. Security was not there. I definitely had to get a train. So I'm on the train and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I love all kinds of people, but some people, you just look at them and you know they're slow. You just know they are slow. Well, there was this lady who looked a little slow, but she tried to put herself in front of me, and I was like, oh no, ma'am. Oh no, 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 ma'am. So I'm just being the jerk that's like kind of pushing myself ahead of people. I hated that. I had to run down an escalator with my bag. I was like, I do not have time to ride this escalator. Anyways, I finally get to the spot where I've had 2 trains. I'm now at the security checkpoint, and I see the line's not that long, but the line is not moving, and my plane boards in 10 minutes. And I was like, I have no idea how far after security I'm gonna have to run. So I just started tapping people. Excuse me, do you mind if my plane boards in 10 minutes? Do you mind if they're like, oh, please, we're like 3 hours early. I'm like, normally me. So then I just keep tapping. Then I get to this mom and her kids, and she's like, my plane boards at 7. I was like, yeah, mine boards at 6:40. Can I? She's like, oh, okay, yeah. Anyways, so I get through a couple people, and then I'm like, okay, this is fine. I just have a couple more people in front of me. It's getting close to my turn. And then this person in a wheelchair gets to cut in front of me, which, okay, on a normal day, I get it. I'm a patient girl, all kinds of people, but I'm like, are you serious? Are you serious? Of course, they have multiple bags that go ahead of mine on the scanner, and it's just, I just don't know. It's my first time in this airport. I have no idea how far I'm running. I'm like, the plane is leaving. I'm gonna be stuck in Florida. Anyways, then they moved us from the line that would have just taken us through the metal detector, and they took us to the one that does the spin, and you do like your arms up and stuff. And so the one with the arms up is like, I believe, detecting heat, I don't know, not senses, paths, I don't freaking know. Anyways, it's detecting heat waves. So I go through the little do thing, and sometimes I get flagged for my thighs because, but this time I get flagged for my back, and the lady's patting me down. I was like, I'm so sorry, I'm just sweating, trying to make my flight. And she's like, okay, you're good. I was like, boom, trying to get out of there, and I see my gate. I made it. Oh my gosh, I made it. My colleague made it. I was like, I am here. I'm gonna make this flight. I'm pumped. I was on the very last row, but hey, I made that darn flight. Now, the other funny part is when they're calling you to board and your group and whatever, then I'm going up and I try to scan. I'm not scanning the wrong part, and then my phone's the wrong way, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I am the reason that there are lines. You guys, the brain does not brain when you are stressed. So then I get on the plane, all good, have my little fan, cooling myself off, chilling at the back, and that flight was fine. Then I land in Dallas, and then I call a Lyft. My Lyft driver was just delightful. I'm not remembering her name off the top of my head, but she was delightful. Her car smelled good, and we just got to talk, and she was new to driving around, and it was just good. Good vibes. Then we started talking about crocheting and sewing, and so that was fun too. And she dropped me off, and I get to the Texas office, and I'm walking in. I got my suitcase, I got my backpack, and I am walking to a desk. And the plan is that I'm not gonna be there for very long. I just wanted to be there for a meeting with somebody so that they felt good for something they had next week. And I get there, and people are like, Madison? I was like, I'm not supposed to be here. I was not supposed to be here. And they're like, why are you here? And I was like, well, it's been a day already in the morning. So give people brief stories. But it was still kind of fun to see people and get to go around, say hi. And I got some delicious bread zeppelin for lunch. I got a great sandwich, got to see some people, and did a quick thing. And then my flight was not leaving for a little bit, so my mom picked me up. I went to her house, took a shower. That was delightful. Finally got to wash my face, and then I took a quick nap, and then did a random impromptu dinner with my mom. Was taking me to the airport. My sister ended up available, and we had some chips and queso and tacos, and so my random travels allowed me to have my Texas food. So that was just delightful. So that was a big adventure on Friday. The Fiasco ended up working, but I have never done airport that way. Like, that is not me. So I don't think I'm proving to myself that I don't have to be at the airport that early, but whew, that was crazy. So then I'm at the airport for my final flight, and I I'm just walking around because I don't like to sit at the gate. I just keep getting my steps in and, you know. And so then I saw another Portland flight that was leaving earlier. And so I went up to the gate. I was like, is this flight completely full? And the agent said yes. And I was like, well, it's worth a try. Then I'm just like paddling around. And then I was like, ooh, I would love a sweet treat. So I go into one of the little convenience stores. And I was like, ooh, Nerds Clusters. I was expecting to maybe pay like $6 because that's outrageous for the small pack. They were charging $9, almost $10 for a small, not even the normal, like small Nerds Clusters. That is outrageous. I could not do that. So then I just kept walking around, found a random candy shop, ended up getting some sweet tart, chewy something things, and did not pay $10, only paid like $3. So that was, what a day. Then the flight happens and the middle seat was open, so I got some leg room. I was dozing because Florida is 3 hours ahead of home. And so when I landed home, it was already 10:30. No, I believe so, 10:30. And you add 3 hours, and that's how long I've been awake. And it was crazy. Evan picked me up. That was lovely, and surprised me with some flowers and Nerds Clusters and a card because it was our anniversary on Monday. So it was a whirlwind, and then I just crashed at home. Evan already started unloading my suitcase to get a load of laundry done, so that was very nice, and I was like, thank you so much. And then Saturday I got to sleep in, and then Evan planned a date and we got bagels. I love me a breakfast bagel, so we got bagels. Then we went to a park in Portland that we've never been to before, Cathedral Park. It's in St. John's and it has a really cool bridge, and I think that's how they gave it its name. Got to see some beautiful hydrangeas in the wild, so big as my face were the flowers. And what else? We walked around. There are a bunch of people fishing. There's some fishing event there. And then after that, we came back home and grabbed some coffee at a shop. And then that was near a grocery store, and we're just like, let's pop in there. And then we got to walk through the flower aisle, and I love flowers. They're just so happy. And so then after that, we were just chilling for a little bit, and I remembered that there was this random game event that I was interested in, but wasn't sure that I would make it based off of our plans. And the timing was perfect, and it was starting in like 45 minutes, so I had enough time to get some stuff gathered. And I went to a park to play this game. I met this guy at the game event I went to the previous week, and he's like, I host this thing. I was like, oh, okay. And so I went, and I believe it's called Blood on the Clock Tower, something like that. It's kind of like Mafia, if you've ever played that, where there's essentially like good team, and evil is trying to kill different people, and you have to figure out who the like killer is. And so got to play that, and it's like an interactive game, so every round you have to go talk to people, so those that are still living and didn't get murdered off, or you can talk to the dead people and whatever. So it was just fun, and they were so welcoming, and they were so open to teaching me, and I was picking their brains about stuff. It got kind of complicated, so I was just like, whoa, what's happening? So the first round, I helped. I was very spicy because someone was trying to accuse me of being the bad person. I was like, excuse me, you're the one that doesn't have your story straight. And so I was just my normal Madison self. And one lady was like, ooh, I like her. Most new people don't really say anything, and they just kind of keep it low. And I was like, well, he told me this and he's lying. So that was fun. And then the next round, I was the killer. And I was like, oh, come on. And it was a more complicated script. And I was like, what is happening? And you guys, I won because I just kept playing it off. It's like, oh, I'm just new. This script is so new and complicated. I'm just so confused. I was not confused. I was killing people. So anyways, that was super fun. And I think I'll go again, especially if they have one close by me. I don't know that I'll drive all the way to Portland for it, but It was super, super fun. And then Evan and I came home and we got Taco Bell for dinner. Love me a Taco Bell. And then we're like, what do we freaking watch? We don't have a show. And I was like, everyone keeps talking about Love Island. I almost said Love is Blind. Everyone keeps talking about Love Island. But the last time I tried to watch Love Island, it was boring. Boring. And people were like, no. Love Island has lots of drama. I was like, I don't believe you people. Anyways, Evan and I tried again. It was boring. So slow. So boring. So many chats. They take like the intro takes like 20 minutes. That could have taken 2 or 5. Like, come on. Anyways, we were going to give up. But then we just started. Evan was Googling what episodes we should actually pause on. And then we're like, ooh, okay, they're going to have a challenge. So we're pretty much watching maybe 5 to 10 minutes of every episode. And I think now we're getting close to like episode 14 or something. Anyways, we love when they do the recouple and the drama with that. But I don't know that Love Island is really that good. Controversial statement I just said. But we'll try. We're doing it in our own way, which is all we can do. And then it was bed. And then today got to sleep in some more. And one of the best things about living here is that the mornings in the summer are still chilly. So it was in the 50s, low 60s this morning. So we opened up all the windows and all the doors and just get the fresh air. And I just love that so much. And then we were just chilling on the couch looking at funny videos, and I was just under a little blanket, just so wonderful. And then we went on a walk, which was delightful. So many flowers. I just love seeing all the flowers in the neighborhood. And there's just new stuff all the darn time. And again, saw really big hydrangeas as big as my head. I just love it. Love it. And then after that, I went to a paddleboard meetup in Oregon, and that was delightful. And we went to Lake Oswego, and that is a very ritzy area of Oregon. Did not know. And we got to see all these homes, mansions on the water. There's lots of boats out, so it was like really wavy. I did not try to stand this time. I wasn't trying to get in the water accidentally, but it was great. It was a smaller group, but I got to have more conversations that way, and I just really enjoyed it. So that was a crazy week, crazy recap. This week should probably be more chill. I am not traveling to Florida anytime soon, so I don't have to deal with that stuff, but I'm getting better at this leaving out of my comfort zone kind of thing. So I'll keep you guys posted on how this week goes. Hopefully not as chaotic. My sister's coming to visit. So I'll have some updates on that, and I hope it's just a delightful time. Thanks for the Yap Sesh Yappers. I will see you next week, and keep trying to live out of your comfort zone. It will pay off. That's what I'm told. Bye.